Hello everyone, this is James from Tin Robot Games. Today we're going to do a review of a new game called This Game is a Disaster. It's going to be on Kickstarter in the coming week, and I ordered a copy online, a preview copy, so that I could give this a try here with some of my friends and get their thoughts. Joe and I were able to go through the instructions earlier just to make sure we had our head around it so we could then explain it to Brian. So Brian's going to see this for the very first time. Exciting. And we'll play it through and we'll see how it goes. This game is based on a 90s theme disaster movie. So think of any possible disaster movie that happened in the 90s. It is in this game. So there's tornadoes throwing sharks at people. There's tsunamis. There's looting going on. You got people killing each other. You got emergency shelters. It's just anything you can think of in a disaster is actually going to happen in this game.
There's flying cows that come out of.
There are no flying cows, but for the board game group who created this game, maybe we can add a flying cow. I think that's a great idea. Throw a moo at somebody, maybe.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, just like Twister.
Exactly. So Brian, when we the way it's set up is depending on the number of players we have, that determines how many cards are in the game. So we have 3 players. According to the instructions we have here, that gives us a 20 cards in the deck as a start. So this is where I think we made a mistake earlier, Joe, is I think we took the 30 and split it in half. I think it's actually 30 per player, right? So,
oh, okay. That was a pretty quick game then.
Don't worry, I will speed through all this on the...
You know? Really? You're not going to leave this dead space in there?
That'd be awesome. Speed of everything else that really show up just like this.
That's dropping Thor's hammer is what that is. So he just whacked. I can't...
The same idea, same with me. You got to burn that. Yeah, so you're
burn that and... Ride the pizza guy wins the game. I don't know what the time was on that. That was... I don't know what the clock is. I don't know. That was what, 10, 15 minutes?
You're not going to shake the champ's hand?
Well, not left hand. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I shook his hand like that.
Yeah, but I do like this.
All right.
All right.
So, good game. Well deserved. I hate losing to you, as you know.
You do.
But there's always the next time. So, that's the end of the game. That was very quick, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Let's give them the gears. At the end, what I'd like to do is actually rate the game out of 5 gears. You can do half gears if you want, or partial gears. And but first, let's go through kind of let's take turns maybe. What did you like? Let's have a discussion. What did you like? What would you maybe change and to make it even better maybe, or some advice we can give to these guys? And then what are your thoughts on its appeal maybe to the market and the kind of target that would go after a game like this?
I want to go first because I don't want any of you guys to taint what's already in my head.
Yeah, no problem.
I love the game. It was a lot of fun. For my personal experience, what I would have liked to do is what you guys did earlier, and that is kind of do a read-through ahead of time and be able to look at the cards and kind of feel the cards before just jumping into the game, because I found myself, although I was I loved the art, and I found myself reading each card and trying to concentrate on, okay, what does this card do, what does that card do? I know playing through this game 2 or 3 times, I'd be more, I hate to say this, but I think I won by fluke. You'll never ever hear me say that. Okay? Because I like to really, when I play a game, I'm very competitive. So I want to win the game. And so something like that, I would have liked to kind of read through myself, look at the cards, spend a few minutes just kind of getting a touchy-feely for the cards, and then playing the game like you guys did.
Yeah.
Although with that being said, it was very easy to pick up and play. Yeah. It was very quick. It was fun. I love the art graphics. I love the tsunami card where you can kind of basically whammy the other guy's hands. I really like that.
Yeah.
And it was fun and it was easy playthrough. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so full disclosure on that is I wanted to get a little bit of both for this particular review, so I wanted to at least review one so we don't have a recording of just all of us staring at a piece of paper trying to read, right? Because that would be very great. So, but Joe and I had very similar experience, and we played a couple hours ago. We just did a quick little just trying to understand the mechanics of 2-player. Again, we didn't do it properly because I realized how he dealt the cards wasn't right. So maybe that could even be a little spin on the game, is that if you want to even speed the game up even more, you can start with even less cards for each person's pile. So maybe take 10 out of play if you don't have as much time to play and you want to kind of mix it up. What I really liked about that aspect is if you did have more cards but you only play a portion of the cards that are there, that would bring another element of unknown to the game.
Yeah.
So you shuffle up. So say you've got like there's what, like 60 cards here, right? So if you had, say, 100 cards and you shuffle them up, but you're only playing with 60 at random, then there's always in the back of your mind, kind of like the game Saboteur, where there's a version where you can have multiple Saboteurs, but sometimes there's a bit of randomness to it like that, where maybe there's one Saboteur, maybe there's 2 or 3, you don't really know. This could be a similar mechanic to that, where you could have a bit of randomness, right? So you could say, oh, geez, does he have the tsunami card? Maybe not. Maybe they're all kind of hidden in the the kitty that we're not playing with.
It's kind of like playing blackjack, right? So you have the shoe, and it's kind of hard to count if you don't know exactly. Because right now, if we're playing with all the cards, if for a seasoned person playing, there's not that many different cards. So if you knew exactly that there was X amount of tsunami cards, you can just count them and go, okay, well, there's one there. It's in his discard pile. There's in the discard pile.
Sure.
Then there's a little bit more of a expectability out of what your play might come. But if you had, again, like you said, like 100 cards, double or even double, if there's 60 cards or 120 cards, you shuffle it up, you might get all the heavy hitters, or you might get a mitt full of garbage.
Right.
So it would add a little bit more randomness to it if people like their random games.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that are like that when you first play and you're learning the game, winner, chicken dinner. Like everybody kind of has a turn to win because it's based a little bit more on luck of the cards, how the cards are playing, as opposed to getting 10 games or 15 games in on the same gameplay. Then the strategy starts to take over, and some of the games you can actually be too clever on. Where we've played a game like that recently, where you're getting frustrated because you're not fully playing what you're supposed to be playing. You're holding back because of the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
So that kind of, as some of these games unfold and you play them a lot, you kind of take that randomness out of it, if you know what I'm saying. You kind of get too good at it, if that's possible.
No, but that
kind of takes the fun out of it if you get too good.
But I think what's good about this is it seems like I'd have to count I didn't actually go through how many of each card there was, but there's the kind of I call it the Nene card. I forget it's called the Deus Ex Machina, right? Yeah. Or Deus Ex Machina. That it seems like there's the same number of those as there is the tsunamis, so they can counteract each other, right?
Yeah. So
likewise, you do have those cards that you can say, I'm going to play this card that doesn't allow anybody to act upon me on the next turn. So if you destroy everybody's cards, really you're only destroying all of Joe's cards, not mine. But I hear what you're saying. I think that there's a ton of randomness in here, right? And I think that you have to look at this card game for what it is, right? So, if you look at like Tanks But No Thanks, for example, a lot of the feedback we had on that game was there's some diehards out there saying, well, it has dice and dice are random, so I would never play a game with dice in it. So, this game isn't for everybody, right? This game is for people that are looking for a light, fun, laughter game. I think kids would love it. So our buddy Mesh, his kids, I can see his 2 boys sitting down and playing this for hours upon hours at the cottage this summer, because it's just the kind of thing that kids can keep themselves busy. They're constantly playing back and forth. At a younger age, they're going to not necessarily see it as being as random as it is. They might actually think they're being strategic, right? But it's a great entry-level game. I'm part of a game group in Newmarket, and there's a very wide range of players, right? So we've got some players that are pretty hardcore that on the side they play D&D, Wingspan, some of these more cerebral games, and then you've got, or like Root, for example, and then on the flip side you got people that come and if you pulled out a game of cards and just want to play a game of cards, they'd be in front. They just want to play a game of regular cards, right? So for a wide range of people, this is a great game to get people introduced to just board gaming in general. So for myself, I like to have, I have a Monopoly deal in my bag. I've got Bananagrams in my bag. I've got another one we're working on, which is, again, all games designed to be kind of the kickoff of the night. While you're waiting for people to come, people get there early, something you can play really quick, have some fun while you're maybe having a drink, a beer, whatever, just have some casual conversation. I see this being like that.
Like a camp game. Something could pack in your camp bag and away you go.
Rainy day, you're stuck inside the tent or trailer.
So you're saying turn this into a drinking game? Is that what you're saying?
You could probably do that too.
Anyway, point is, so lots of fun with the game. What are the things you would change? What are some of the things you think you would do differently?
Again, I'm not picking on this because it just came out, and this is kind of.
Well, hasn't come out yet. It's going.
No, but what I mean is this is a run through, right?
Yeah.
So probably a nylon card. If you're taking a camping or cottaging, if you're taking a camping or cottaging, something that's not going to get dirty or ripped.
A little water resistant too.
Water resistant, sure. Something that's
fully water resistant,
dampness
but something a little
in
bit.
Cottages, dampness in camping.
Okay.
Just a nylon card. That's it. That's it. I really.
That's it's great feedback. Maybe that's something if for Kickstarter they could do an upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they could have sometimes they have different levels and different stretch targets. Maybe a one level up if you pay an extra $5 or $10 or whatever a deck. You can get ones that have the plastic coating to them.
And how often do people spill a drink on a table? It happens all the time, right? And then once these get waterlogged,
an animal.
once they get waterlogged or juice on them, they're sticky
But it does happen, especially if you're playing
happens all the time,
kids,
especially kids.
Yeah,
they got cheesy fingers.
Oh, I got an 8-year-old. So as much as he loved playing this for the simplistic of it, again, he's a little animal. Like he's gonna be eating Doritos with one hand and then touching everything, and so. It wouldn't be bad if you had like the waxy finish to some playing cards or something with a little bit more of a protective barrier. Not just that, the oils of your fingers eventually, and cards can just get grubby just from use, right? So this is a game that I could see myself easily playing a lot. And then with the fact that just the use of it as well, I can see the corners getting a little banged up. I can see them getting a little grubby. So just a little bit higher quality of the card I would agree with for that for sure. Other than that, if...
The one thing that for me when I was going through and I was looking at the now these are the print and play instructions, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they're going to have a proper instruction sheet to fill up in the box. These ones didn't come in the box. I actually had to print them off online. When we were going through the instructions, I found that I really hate reading instructions, right? Like often I'll even go and watch a video on how to play a game. Mm. Yeah. I would like to see more pictures, I think, more diagrams kind of pointing to how different things, really play. This is really cool. There's a, on here they've got this diagram that shows them playing and it says what the discard pile and different things are. But it'd be kind of cool to have I think more pictures describing it. The final countdown at the end we found confusing. We actually had to look it up and research a bit to kind of figure it out. It wasn't crystal clear at the beginning that we're splitting up the entire deck. Yeah. Our understanding was that you're starting off with... Because the two of us clued in when we got the 3 players, because obviously you can't divide, 20 by 3. But the 30 cards we had at the beginning, our decks weren't 30. We just took 30 cards from the deck
and then did 15
and did 15 and 15 apiece. So that was a little confusing, but these are all things, tweaks that they could easily fix. Another thing that could be kind of cool is if they did, as part of the Kickstarter, maybe as a stretch target or an add-on would be a player mat. Yeah. Right? So you could have some disaster themed player mat that actually has the things where
you'd have the markout that says discard, destroy, even a bigger one that says destroyed, and then you could have the destroyed one look like either a crater or like a bunch of debris. Yeah, exactly. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
So that would be those would be the edits I would do. But overall, I really enjoyed the game. I'm glad I ordered a demo version of this game. It is definitely something I'll have in my bag and I'll pull it out when we do game night just as an early starter. Probably gonna throw it at my kids too, see what they think. I think they'd love it because they don't get too heavy into the strategy, so they like things that are just fun to play and kick back and forth. So they like Sushi Go and things like that, which again is a very random type game.
I play a very similar card, not similar to this, but just again a quick game you can either do before it's Coup. I don't know if you ever played Coup.
No.
It's just you get 2 cards. Yeah. It's a game of bluffing. Yeah. Similar idea. It's just quick play, real easy to understand. When you get going, again, it says 13 plus. My 8-year-old understands it. He can play, and again, he thinks he's so smart trying to bluff. Of course, you read them like a newspaper, just so easy. But but a game like this, again, what I was going to say a little earlier was we're to touch on the fact that people who like strategy games, it can get frustrating for people playing like myself. If I'm coming into a game with someone, let's say the two of you have played. We've had it happen here. I played a couple games where it takes a little bit to get caught up, but then you get almost frustrated if it's one of those ones where they've had years into it and they're look like a genius when they're playing. Sure. And you're coming in going, okay. Yeah. You almost get frustrated, and vice versa. Or if you get too good of a game, there's no challenge there anymore. Sure. This game I love about the randomness of it is true is you could end up with a mitt full of tsunamis and things like that, and the other person can have some stuff that's not going to help them, and that can be anybody. You know, it's got that element of poker to it, where sure there's strategy to it, but there's also the luck of the draw, and that's what I liked about it. That I didn't have to read 45 pages of instructions, and then have 75 pieces I have to move, and then have 35 cards I have to manage, and then have specially designed stuff and stuff. Again, quick game, easy to play, small, compact, in the bag, easy to understand. On that point, when you say that the randomness, you have somebody just get lucky and just clean you out. Yeah.
kind of like when Ian and Brian and I often play Monopoly Deal, and we'll play like 5, 6, 7 games in a row because they go so fast, right? You 10, 15 minutes game at tops. You kind of work that out. So you're going to have the 1 or 2 times when someone just cleans everybody out because they got lucky. But as a whole, it kind of balances itself out. But there's a little bit of strategy here. You can get strategic to try to prevent certain things from happening and so forth. So I think it's pretty cool. Again, kudos on the graphics. Graphics are great.
Look awesome.
Looking forward to maybe an expansion pack or down the road. Maybe if they add even more scenarios. I think the scenarios are fun and hilarious. Maybe have one where you throw a chicken at somebody to slow them down while zombies are chasing them or something like that.
I was thinking about doing that because I was a big sci-fi geek myself, and then the horror aspect of it is there's so much to the disaster world that you could do. A zombie apocalypse pack or a sci-fi pack where like aliens take over. Like I don't know, just think of the movie like Critters, like these little aliens. Like they could be like a critter card or like an alien invasion card, which is also a disaster, but it's and then whatever it may be, right? Like then you figure out whatever your move is for that. But just again, you can have so much fun with the little graphics and
when Mars Attacks,
like Mars Attacks, like the old 1950s style, right? You can do a whole expansion that it's even its own game with like 50 sci-fi stuff, right? So alien invasion,
that's a good point too, Walking Dead or like zombies. Or it's not the Walking Dead brand, but
No, but I mean, the nice thing about the mechanics of the game is it doesn't matter what's on the card. The game can be the same because the element of what the move, what your action is on the card.
Sure.
But just you can have so much fun with all sorts of genre stuff. You can do high fantasy. You're talking about your friends with a D&D. You could have easily this be a very D&D dragon and orcs and stuff eccentric game. And that's what I love about certain games is when very similar. You want to talk about a card game? Munchkin. Munchkin is a game that it's very simple to play, a lot of fun. Right? It's very, very simple to play. And it's got a medieval kind of old fantasy world feel to it. But they have so many expansions that expand into X-Men and the Avengers. But all the cards mixed together. So I can have an orc with Iron Man's armor and like it's a lot of fun and it's real goofy and like tongue-in-cheek jokes and the kids love it. So again, with card games like this or the right expansions and again with going with the great art direction and everything like that there's endless opportunity with
would you like a romance one
well, it depends.
Romance.
That would be actually pretty funny though.
Well, think like the love letter is a perfect example.
Love Letter's a great one,
But they've reskinned it like with like Marvel and Batman versions, right? Like
there's so many ways you can reskin almost anything.
50 Shades of Grey mixed in with.
Maybe not 50 Shades of Grey. That's
some white rabbit gets cooked.
But yeah, that's true. It'd be funny to that you could have like a romance one too, where it's like I don't know. I'm just trying to think like the nerd girl takes off her glasses and hair and I don't know, take 2 cards. Like whatever the tropes are for the 90s romance comedy type stuff, right? Rom-com stuff. It'd be pretty funny to actually see a game based on that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. All right, so let's give them the gears.
Yes.
So I'm going to vote last. We'll start off with Brian. So you get 5 gears. You can go partial gears.
I'm going to go 4 gears. I liked it. Again, I hadn't played it. That was the first playthrough for me, so I like the simplicity. I'm not a big, long instruction guy, and we've played a number of games before where I like simple. Sorry, guys. I don't like things that are complicated and drawn out and make my head spin, and a lot of us, I think, are really like that. We work hard all day. We have demanding jobs where we have to concentrate. Games are supposed to be about fun and about being loose and relaxed and having a drink and having fun with your friends. I don't take gaming that serious that I want to, be a scientist to be able to figure it or a chemist to figure out a game or a biologist. Anyway, I give it a 4 gears. I liked it a lot. Looking forward to playing it again.
Perfect.
A lot of what you touched on, very similar for what I feel. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. But that's no means saying I loved playing. It was actually a lot of fun. I just think from where it needs to grow, and again, very early stages of the game, and that everything there's some growing.
Just going on Kickstarter now too.
Just going on Kickstarter, and so things might change by the time it comes out. I want a little bit more clarification in the rules and of the rules of what the cards mean. For the Meteor card, for example, all players. Does that include me? Does that only include you two? And then similar, I was thinking about.
Question?
Sure.
So if you had that clarified, would that bump you up to a 4?
I would go to a 4 if the rules, not just that card, but like most of the rules were a little bit more clarified.
So that was your only real issue?
That's my only real issue.
Polish it up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, just for clarification on the rules, because the simplicity of it I loved. Again, quick game is always fun to play.
Yep.
And yeah, that would be my only My only gripe with it was just a little bit of clarity more, I guess, in the rules for people just starting out would be a big help.
Fair enough.
Cool. For myself, I think that I'm kind of along Joe's line. I'm going to give it 4 because I think that those polishes are going to be done by the final version coming out.
For sure.
I would also say that based on the market you're going after, right? So I'm not going to rate this as, how does this compare against Settlers of Catan or how does it compare against Zoo? I mean, guys, you're not even comparing apples to apples, right? It's how do you rank this game as a fun, light type of a card game along the lines of, Sushi Go, Monopoly Deal. In that case, I would give it 4 gears. I think it's pretty cool. Again, I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I bought a version of it, so I have it now in my game bag, and I'll definitely be supporting it when it comes out on Kickstarter as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll be putting in my support for this for sure. This is a great game.
Awesome. So once again, I just want to thank Joe, the board game ref. I appreciate you coming out tonight. Again, Brian, the pizza guy, thanks always. Your opinion always counts, and your digs, always love it. And I'm James from Tin Robot Games. Thank you.
Resistance to fun is futile.